Greetings, my friends. Welcome to the Secrets of a Witch podcast with yours truly, Sabrina Scott. Hi. I hope everyone is doing wonderful. And as you know, on this podcast, I talk all about life, love, healing, spirituality, witchcraft, magic, feminine energy, tarot, mediumship, etc., and everything in between. I hope everyone's doing great. There's only a few days left of the year, which feels crazy to me, but I guess is where we're at. And I'm going to try to make it to 150 episodes by the time the year is done. So let's see if we can do it. I think that is a great goal. It'd be kind of cool if I can try to do 150 episodes a year. I don't know if I can do that every single year, but let's try. So got a few episodes left to crunch out by the time the year switches. So let's just launch into it. So today, there's a bit of an impulsive recording, but I got this series of messages and I was just like, what the fuck? So today my topic is, if someone slides into your DMs saying that they need to heal you, or they got some kind of message or download that they need to heal you and you need to come to their space and blah de blah, like, this is just my message to you that this person is probably nuts. And so I mean that in like a nice way. Okay, I feel like I did an episode about this ages ago, or maybe this was actually even before I did a podcast, and back when Instagram used to allow, 10-minute videos that you can just upload, and I would go on these little rambles about different topics, like my little hot takes. I used to do a lot of those back when Instagram allowed us to post these kind of like mid-range length of videos. I miss those days because I feel like I got a lot of vibes and ideas out that way. But there was an episode that I did back before the podcast, like I said, this kind of short form video vibe, where I was ranting about this. It annoys me that this continues to be a thing. Like, I'm not shocked. Sorry, my cat is shaking. Hello, Choya. It's not surprising to me that this is still a fucking problem in the community. I'm not surprised. It's upsetting to me in some ways because it just shows that people have this insane lack of self-awareness, an insane lack of boundaries, and entitlement to kind of encroach on people's existence. It just annoys me. And so let me just outline what happened. And I have no bad blood towards this person. I'm not going to say who it is. It doesn't matter. Like, this kind of thing has happened to me enough times over the years of being in spiritual land that it doesn't fucking matter who I'm talking about. Because there's oodles of people who are like this. I've gotten these crazy messages today. I will probably get these crazy messages in the future. I've gotten these crazy messages in the past. And so my annoyance with all of this, and I'll get into exactly what I'm talking about in a second, but let's just give some background. So my annoyance with all of this type of stuff, I think it's really easy for me to see it because I was raised in something called spiritualism, as you guys know. And so despite my mom's insanity and craziness, one of the things I am grateful that I learned from being in that spiritualist space with her was basically not to just let any random ass person do healing work on you. Right? So it's incredibly important to be very selective on who we allow and who we invite into our spiritual energy, into our aura, into which way you want to phrase it. But anyone who is going to be doing quote unquote healing work on us, it is vastly important, like huge in importance, that we are deciding with awareness who we are allowing to do that. Because if we don't, we can end up fucking ourselves. We can end up creating a lot of drama for ourselves. We can end up completely fucking up our energy field. And we can end up, if we are a novice in this work, we can end up getting ourselves into a situation that we're going to have to find another professional to help us get out of. And there's no shade in that. Like, if this is you, if you're someone who has made those poor choices, poor discernment in the past, I have helped a lot of folks kind of excavate themselves out of these situations. So it's not a doom and gloom thing. If you want me to help you with that, you are going to have to hire me. It is a lot of fucking work to do. I can do it, but again, it will cost you. So just be aware. But it kills me. It kills me that a lot of people, I guess, are so vulnerable that they will let any random ass person heal them. And it's like very weird. Like, I just really don't agree with it. I don't agree with random people sliding into the DMs of other people and being like, I had a vision. I got a message from God. I got a download from the spirits that I'm going to heal you in the middle of nowhere, even though we don't know each other. Like, it's insane. Like, it just sounds unhinged, because it is unhinged. And it's funny because I was thinking a few days ago, like the stresses of adulthood, the stresses of being a person in your 30s, and I'm sure 40s and 50s, etc., like with various things happening, like, as you get older, people die, there's health issues, there's taxes, there's money, there's all these, like, the weight of the world kind of increasingly gets on our shoulders as we get older, right? We get more aware of all this shit. And so I was thinking the other day, like, man, I really do understand, like, why some people go fucking crazy as they get older. Like, I get it. Like, and I was someone who was crazy as a teenager, and I kind of was able to get out of that, thank God, touch wood. And through that journey, I've become chill and stable and, all good. So I know what it's like to be insane, as I feel like I've been there. But I get it. Like, I get it now that I'm older. I get it, how some people, they don't become insane due to, like, crappy childhood. They become insane due to, all the craziness, the weight of the world in, middle age or whatever. Like, I get it. I get it now. So I was thinking about this recently. And so on one hand, it makes sense that some people are going to be dealing with a lot of stuff, and they're going to have some kind of self-described, spiritual experience where they feel like they're some kind of whatever, and they want to go do this and that, and they're going to, say that God or the spirits, whoever said that they need to go heal this, that, and the other person, right? And so on one hand, as a spiritual person myself, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like, I get it. On the other hand, I'm like, this is insane. And the reason I'm saying it's insane is because no matter how many downloads, quote unquote, or spiritual visions I've had, like, the common denominator is, like, keep your eyes on your own page. You know what I mean? And so I feel like whenever our quote unquote spirit team, if we're going to call it that, and I don't know, maybe some of these people are schizophrenic. Maybe some of these people have some very serious mental health, like hallucination stuff going on. I don't know. I don't know what's going on for people. Maybe some of it is a genuinely spiritual experience. Maybe it's a combination. I don't know. But, like, it kills me because they want to encroach on other people, and they want to try to say, I know what's better for you more than you do. I am reaching out to you completely unsolicited, to a stranger, to say, come to my space and I will heal you because you need to be healed. I got some messages and I was just like, my jaw dropped on the ground. And I think I said literally out loud, wow, when it was done. And this has been the case every time this has happened to me, because for some reason, like, since I guess I'm in the space, some people think they know me, whatever, that's fine. And I'm, like, happy to be friends with everybody. But, like, for me, a line is crossed when someone who I literally don't know comes up on my shit and out of nowhere, apropos of nothing, uninvited, is like, you need me to heal you. Like, if it's a good day, I'm going to be like, thanks, but no thanks. If the person pushes me more, I'm going to be like, literally, fuck off. Like, I do not appreciate this. Do not invite me again. Do not talk to me about this. Go away. And it's just crazy to me, right? Because as someone myself who does have this gift of being able to channel, being able to do mediumship, and again, I believe we all can access this gift, which is why I teach it. But what I believe is that we all need to have this power for ourselves, cultivate it, so that we don't give our power up to other people, which is why I don't offer mediumship for people generally. I would much rather people learn how to be mediums themselves so that they don't have to rely on me channeling their dead people, so that they can have the direct contact, because then they get to decide what to do with it. That's important to me. And so my rant here is basically just about this particular type of spiritual person who thinks that they, because they're channeling this, that, or the other, that they're interpreting in this, that, or the other kind of way, that then gives them a right to know, what is better for someone else that they literally have never met and don't know. I would never dream of doing that. Never in my life have I ever reached out to some random person being like, I need to heal you. And don't get me wrong, do I sometimes get impressions of what exact type of spiritual work or healing people might benefit from? Sure, I do. Do I tell people that unless they have hired me? No. Because it's not my business. It's none of my business what people do with their lives unless they invite me in for my opinion. It's none of my business. If someone wants to crash and burn their life, that is up to them. I'm not going to intervene unless I'm invited to, in which case, let's go. I will give you all my skills. I will help as much as possible. I'll be very clear and give that advice and give that spiritual assistance. Absolutely. But unless I'm invited in, I do see it as a breach of consent, and I do see it as incredibly inappropriate and devoid of boundaries. I don't think it's a spiritually responsible thing for any person in a position of spiritual leadership to do. To just randomly slide into someone's DMs and say, hey, I've channeled some message that says that, I need to heal you, and then you can go channel this and go heal other people. It's excuse me? What? What? It makes no sense. So this is my rant, you guys, but let's just take this rant and this annoying thing that happens to me every once in a while, and I'm sure it's happened to some of y'all every once in a while. Let's take this into some lessons, some actual, points that we can take away. So point 1, right? No matter how vulnerable you're feeling, maybe you just had a death in the family, maybe you just lost your job, maybe you just got a divorce, I don't know. When people have these type of things happen, these big drastic things, often that makes us feel very vulnerable, and we're vulnerable to crazy people. We're vulnerable to random ass people masquerading as spiritually connected warriors or whatever. It's easier to be vulnerable when we're in that situation. And so, and this was happening on Instagram a lot a few years ago. The people, the random impersonators would slide into people's DMs with the most psychotic, generic bullshit, being like, oh, I have felt your energy and you need a reading because of blah, blah, blah. And everyone would just give these scammers money. It's people being vulnerable, and to be frank, people also being kind of stupid. No offense. And so everyone just needs to have their wits about them. Whether you are in a place of vulnerability, which does happen to each and every one of us at some point, when we're at a vulnerable place, it can feel really good to feel, ooh, I'm divinely chosen by the random spiritual guru that has slid into my DMs, saying that they've got this or that message about me. Ooh, I feel divinely chosen, like in a fantasy movie. It's no, my friend, please, for the love of God, do not ever fall for that shit. No one I know who is an actual legit medium operates that way whatsoever. It's not how we operate. That is more of a mental illness way of behaving, unfortunately. And if it's not a mental illness way of behaving, it is a complete lack of boundaries and social decorum way of behaving. And people do not need to have mental issues in order to have poor boundaries. Some people just have poor boundaries and a lack of judgment, right? It's unfortunate, but it's true. And the thing is, just because someone else has poor boundaries, just because someone else has some level of delusion, just because someone else is trying to push you into something, it does not mean that you have to participate in that. In that moment, it is your responsibility to have those boundaries, to say thanks but no thanks, to be like, thanks for the invite, but no, I'm good. To be able to say no. And I think it's just so important for us to all have that discernment, no matter what we're going through, whatever level of hardship. We have to be able to stand our own 2 feet and connect to this thing called discernment and good judgment, even when it's tough, even when we wish someone would come and rescue us. Even when someone else claims that they have all the answers to our problems, that's when it's even more important for us to hold our ground and to use that internal set of discernment skills to be like, I really don't know you. So, why would I let someone I don't know, I've never heard of, say that they need to heal me? It's bizarre, right? Point 2, if you do want to be healed by somebody, if you do want to have someone do spiritual work on you, that is a service a lot of people provide. I do provide that service. Very rarely will I do it. It is something I've done. It is something I'm sure I will do in the future. It does cost money. Do I take on everyone who approaches me for this? No, I don't. Do I take on some people? Yes. So I have the discernment in who I'm working with. It's important for you to also have the discernment. If you're a practitioner, you should also have this level of discernment. But if you're someone who is seeking this out as a client, you also need to work with discernment when you're deciding who you're inviting into your energy sphere. So if you don't do that carefully, someone like me you're going to have to pay someone like me to come in and clean up the mess, which is fine. I'll happily do it, but it will cost you money. It will cost you time. It will probably cost you strife, trouble, heartache, stress at the least, right? This stuff is serious, right? I try to be very chill about spirituality a lot of the time, but the fact of the matter is, when someone who is not in a position to do healing work, when someone's life is a disaster, let's say, and they're clearly in a moment of mental breakdown that they're trying to position as spiritual enlightenment, you do not want that person's energy into your energy. You just do not. Trust me on this, please. Make whatever choices you want, but again, there are people who can fix it, whatever your bad choices you make spiritually. We can fix you for sure. But my opinion is let's avoid all of that. Let's try to just operate in a chill way. Discernment is really important. It really is. And I would just really advise everyone who has this idea, they want someone to save them spiritually, this fantasy of someone coming to save you. Just take 5 steps back. Be hold on, why do I want this? Why am I craving this? Is this coming from a lack of whatever, fill in the blank, in childhood? I think that's actually why a lot of people end up in cults or weird shit like that, or totalitarian kind of high demand groups, whether it's a political cult or a spiritual cult. So a lot of people just want to give up power to someone else. A lot of people want to remain in that child role and be yes, someone else tell me what to do, make all the decisions, take care of me, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people want to abdicate responsibility over their own lives. I see it all the time. And we see this again in political cults. I see this in social justice land with a lot of these activist-y people. I see it in some spiritual groups. I've seen it in a billion cult documentaries. It's a very common thing, interestingly. But we don't want to end up there. No, my friends, there's another way. And it's a harder path. The last podcast episode was about this. That harder path of moving with integrity. It's a harder path to be true to ourselves and to do that work. It is. It can be tough. It's a lot easier to just gloss over, and let someone else do it, or to just do whatever. It's an easier path, but is it easier in the long term? No, you're going to end up miserable. I've seen it happen. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit off topic, but the TLDR for today, my friends, is please do not fall prey to people who slide into your DMs and offer to heal you. People who tell you that they've channeled, that you have this special role on blah, 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 spiritual thing they are organizing. It's like, no, you're not a side character in someone else's story. You get to be the main character of your own life, spiritually and in everything else. You know, it really does disturb me, honestly. I find it upsetting, like, when people have this delusion and people in the spiritual space where they want to try to manipulate other people through quote-unquote visions, channelings, downloads, healing, blah, blah, blah. And it's just not my fucking thing. Like, I just don't want to participate in that. I just, I'm not going to participate in some other people's weirdo delusions. I have my own ideas spiritually about what my work is about and all of that. But, I'm not going to go be pushing that on everyone. It's just, I do what I do as a part of my business and my work and my career, which you guys are all here. So thank you for hanging out with me. But it's like, if someone is not about it or if someone's not that interested, it's like, that's fucking fine. Like, I really want to connect everyone to their own unique form of magic, their own unique spirituality, so that they don't get sucked into these weirdo people trying to choose you for whatever, like, cultish thing. It's, like, very unfortunate. Anyway, my friends, that's the episode. Just please use your discernment. Please be very careful if someone else is offering to heal you. I know it might be very tempting to just do it because healing ourselves takes a really long time. And it can be tough and it can be hard to cultivate the skills to do it. And I know healing can also just be this exhausting concept of, like, reaching towards purity. Personally, I don't think that's what healing is actually about. I know it's very tempting or typical to phrase things that way, or to see it that way, or to feel shame when we see healing that way. But just please, for the love of everything in the world, please just use your discernment, use your brains, use your intuition, listen to your gut, and also be very aware of that difference between, like, our own neurotic energy and our intuition. They both feel very, very different. And I'll do another talk about that at some point, but it's just really important. So TLDR, please, friends, don't, like, allow anyone random into your energy. You might think, oh, they're not going to do this for me for free. So, like, no harm, no foul. Like, please just don't. Like, you could not pay me to allow someone who is unhinged into my energy to quote unquote heal me. You could, even if someone offered me $100,000, I would say no. I'm not going to let someone into my energy who is clearly having, like, a psychotic break for any reason. Nonetheless, to heal me, like, absolutely not. So stay woke out there, my friends. Use your discernment. Use your discernment. Use your spiritual skills. Protect yourselves. Use your judgment, please. I know it's going to be tempting to just give the power all over to someone else, but please claim your own power, claim your own magic. You do not need anyone else to do that healing work on you, for you, especially uninvited. Okay, that's it. You guys know where to find me, SabrinaMScott.com. You can buy a very cute sweater to keep yourself cozy during the cozy months, which we are in, at shopSabrinaMScott.com. It definitely will not arrive before Christmas, but it will keep you cozy into the new year. My favorite sweater is the Forest Green Abundance Mindset sweater, and I will be dropping a few new things, like a swimsuit and some hats, and also a tote bag or two. So stay tuned, my friends, for those new drops. I don't know when I'm going to drop them, but sometime soon it's going to happen. Okay, friends, what else? Instagram, Sabrina M. Scott. What else? I've got an episode for you guys tomorrow about Yule, aka winter solstice, how to vibe out with this very special day. So I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Talk to you soon. Bye.